I'm sure many of you have heard the story about IDW basically killing off a bunch of creator-owned books in the last few days, and I saw the Will Robson tweet, and quite frankly, I wasn't going to really cover it. It's like, do I want to make fun of IDW? It's like making fun of a coma patient that's on life support. It's like, sure, he might have been a jerk and made some bad moves, but the guy's dying. IDW as a publisher is basically dying. They've been financially insolvent for a very long time now. They're trying to change directions, and at least I do believe the strategy that they're trying to do is probably pretty smart. It's just way too late to do it. Obviously IDW has been known for being like a licensed comic book publisher for so long, but they lost a lot of their big licenses, most notably G.I. Joe and obviously Transformers along the way. They still got TMNT and a couple other big ones, but they also lost like kids Star Wars and kids Marvel books as well. So they're needing to kind of pivot into more creator-owned work. And they brought on some people that are really talented. Well, maybe that's an overstatement. They brought on a person that was really talented. His name is Mark Doyle. He used to be the editor for Batman. He was the guy that Tom King got fired when he refused to call a person in off of their vacation so they could do a cover for Tom King, and then Tom King went and got him fired or whatever. He's actually pretty talented, and he's got a lot of good contacts within the comic book industry, most notably like a Scott Snyder, James Tynion, some of those types of people. I don't imagine that he's going to want to hire Tom King anytime soon. They've also got Jamie Rich on as I guess he's the new EIC. He was the guy that followed up Mark Doyle on Batman that was basically Tom King's lackey or whatever. But Mark Doyle was specifically brought on board to kind of kickstart their creator-owned stuff. And they've had some really good series in the past. If you've never read their Highest House, there's only one volume, but that one was really good. If you've never read The Kill Lock, that's another creator-owned book. There's 2 volumes of that one, The Kill Lock and then The Kill Lock Artisan Wraith. Those are both absolutely fantastic. So there's room to do this, although that's not really what IDW is known for. So they're trying to change their reputation. And I don't believe this is going to help it any or make anyone believe that they're actually a solvent company at this point. This is what comic artist Will Robson tweeted over the weekend. Well, this sucks. My creator-owned book with IDW just got canceled midway through making it. I'm devastated. After spending years on the pitch, I'm truly gutted. This was a huge opportunity for me as a creator, and now it's gone. Guess I'm free if anyone wants to hire me. Also, to any publishers, I have retained the rights, and if you're looking for a new title, it's fully conceptualized. 2.5 scripts written and 5 pages of issue 1 drawn, then hit me up. 5 issues total mini. Not sure I can legally say why, but what I know, it had nothing to do with my art or writing. He later followed this up with another tweet stating that the industry broke him this year, but it appears to have been deleted after the fact. And Will Robson is one of the guys that actually piled on Tyler C. World after the hashtag comics broke me thing happened, and he was reading them, and he was like, you guys are idiots. None of you have any business acumen. You actually need to get like some good contract and actually have page rates that are commensurate with your talent, and you need to demand those and not sign on for contracts that are going to make your life a living hell to where you can't even raise your family or whatever. And Will Robson, who's a good artist, there's no denying that. He's actually a pretty darn decent artist. Went out there and trashed the guy. They ended up getting Tyler C. World's publishing deal canceled or whatever because I guess he just wasn't as miserable as they were or whatever. So I don't really feel terrible for the guy. We already explained what's happening to your damn industry. No one's getting paid. A lot of checks are bouncing, but more often than not, the publishers aren't even sending the checks because they don't care. They know that you idiots will keep signing on the dotted line and taking really bad deals to make comic books that no one's going to buy anyway because the American comic book scene is dead right now. Unless you're publishing through Scholastic or whatever, if you're doing a DC book or a Marvel book, you probably can't really expect to make a whole lot of money. Sure, it's going to be a little bit more stable than working for IDW, but you guys have basically ruined the whole thing. What did you think was going to happen when you sign a contract with a company that's basically financially insolvent? They have been financially in ruin for 5 or 6 years now. They can't even borrow money from a bank. That's how badly things are. They try to get back on the stock market. That didn't work either. This is IDW's last gasp to try to get out of their self-induced comic book coma that they're in, and it's not going to work. And I kind of feel bad for people that signed on with them, but what did you expect? It's IDW. They've been in a lot of trouble for a very long time. Of course, they were going to fumble it and have to fire some people really early on. Of course, Will Robson is not the only one because this story just got bigger and bigger. And really, the reason I'm covering this, yes, it has gotten bigger and more interesting, but it's the ending to this one. If you don't stay around to the end, you're going to miss out on something absolutely beautiful. But first, on Blue Sky, Regine Sawyer posted, who else received an email from IDW about their project being canceled? Raise your hand. Needless to say, I'm absolutely livid. Me and my co-creator worked really hard to get this project off the ground. I was in the middle of writing issue 2 yesterday when the email was sent adding, We got all of our rights back, thankfully. I mean, I guess I'm happy that, IDW is doing the right thing and giving the rights back to stuff that they actually didn't ever publish or probably even pay for. I hope Will and Regine actually got paid for the work that they did put into it, even though they're not going to publish it. But at least you got the rights to the story that not even IDW wanted to publish at this time. But like, this is one of the things that I don't get. IDW goes out there and hires Mark Doyle, who has connections to basically all the best writers at DC Comics from 5 to 6 years ago, basically during DC Rebirth, when it was actually good. You're making this creator-owned line that you hope will become like the flagship product for IDW, where maybe they can be more like a Boom Studios, where they have this great creator-owned line with some licensed stuff backing it up. I imagine that's what IDW's play here. That's what they want to do. Why is Mark Doyle going out there on his first batch of creator-owned books and hiring Regine Sawyer? No one's ever even heard of this person. That is not a name. Unless they have the greatest pitch in the entire world, it doesn't matter if Regine even has the best pitch in the entire world. No one's going to buy it because it's IDW, it's creator-owned, and it's Regine Sawyer. That stuff should be going over to Image Comics, where there's a little bit less risk on the company and maybe a little bit more upside for Regine. But I don't know why IDW was even going this route. If you're going to do creator-owned stuff and you hire Mark Doyle, you want to be doing books by Dave Jurgens. You want to be doing Scott Snyder books. You want to be doing James Tynion books. Maybe a Tom King book. You want some of these actual big-time writers that have a reputation within the industry. I bet the guy even knows Grant Morrison or something like that. Why are you going out there and hiring Regine Sawyer? And that's not the only person that's essentially a no-name that's never actually sold a comic book that got screwed out of this deal. In a reply, Jordan W. Gray added, "Raise hand. It's slightly more complicated and less developed than that, as I had scripted a graphic novel for a historical figure, and they were searching for an artist when things went kaboom." Yeah, I've never heard of Jonathan W. Gray either, and I'm a comic book reader. I have a comic book YouTube channel, and I've never heard of these people. It's crazy. Like, why are you signing this up? And why would you do a graphic novel about a historical figure under the mainline IDW brand anyway? Isn't that what Top Shelf is for? Isn't that how March became such an enormous success for IDW? Is you had a graphic novel by some no-name writer about a historically significant figure, and you put it out on Top Shelf or whatever as a graphic novel. This will probably go over there. That's where it belonged all the whole time. But why was Mark Doyle even doing this? It made no sense. Like, are you absolutely dense? Do you not know how to create a functioning comic book publishing line? Especially when you're in the creator-owned business? Like, whatever, man. That one has a chance to actually make some money and be important as long as the historical figure is actually important and people want to know more about him. But why would IDW do it? That's what Top Shelf is there for. Now, let's get to the end, because this is the coup de grace. This is when the whole situation gets absolutely perfect. Remember, it started with Will Robson, comic book artist who's doing some writing now, who's done a lot of work in the past at Marvel Comics. People know who this guy is, and he was the one that got all of this noise started. Alex DeCampi decided to come in on her white horse, and she is going to save the day for everybody that's getting screwed by IDW and them just killing all these creator-owned books. This is what Alex DeCampi said. "Comics, writers, and artist mutuals. I'm hearing anecdotally that a bunch of IDW original series are getting the chop due to policy changes at the company. I'm happy to do what I can via intros, etc., to help your book land a new publisher. DM me and we'll talk. Also, hugs." This is what Will Robson, who started this whole thing, said. "Hello, I can't access your DMs. Mine got axed." This is what Alex DeCampi says in response. "I'm sorry, but I don't know you. This is the first time we've ever interacted." If that is not comic books in 2023 just perfectly summed up, I don't know what it is. Mwah, chef's kiss. Thank you very much, Alex DeCampi. Will Robson, I'm sorry, sir. You are still too male and too white to get into Alex DeCampi's DMs. Yeah, she said all comic writers and mutuals and jump in my DMs and I'm going to help you out. But you ain't the type of person she was wanting to help out. As much as you try and screw other people over and do the piling on and put out your sad story, she don't want to hear it. She's going to help somebody else out. Can you imagine that? That was so Alex DeCampi, and she probably doesn't even know it. That is the perfect ending to the story, and this is why I don't feel bad for any of these morons. Comic books didn't break you. You broke comic books. If you want to hear more about my thoughts on that, I had an entire video about it, talking about the hashtag comics broke me thing, and why I didn't feel bad for any of these dumb idiots. There's also a link in the video description.